before getting into this video, I just wanted to apologize if there's any noise going on outside. There is a house being built next door and I currently have landscapers here, so ignore any noises or crashing sounds. That's just them doing their work, so we're just gonna hang out with them today. Lately, I have been thinking a lot about creativity. I don't think I've lost my creativity. I feel like I've always had this creative spark within me. However, I feel like I've lost touch with this side of myself. And so this is something that I would like to just discuss today, a topic of conversation. So feel free to comment in the comments below as you watch this with your thoughts. My name is Anna. I am a working artist, and on this channel we talk about art, mental health, life growth, healing from trauma, and I will be sharing my creative projects in between. Those are coming very soon, so if any of that resonates with you, feel free to subscribe. Otherwise, let's go ahead and talk about our inner child and how that affects our creativity, at least for me personally. This is a personal story video that maybe other people can watch and resonate with and not feel so alone in this world as an artist. All right, let's get into it. So recently I have been reading a book. I am not finished with it yet, as you can see my bookmark, but I have been diving into this book called Recovery of Your Inner Child. It is by Lucia Cappuccioni. She is a doctor and she specializes in inner child work. So I want to preface anything that I'm about to say after this with, I am no expert. I'm not an expert in anything that I say, this specifically. However, I really wanted to just dive into this topic alongside anybody else who may be struggling with connecting with their creativity or connecting with their inner child. Several months ago, I was blessed with the opportunity of an art sponsorship. It was a really big deal for me at the time, especially now, of course, as well. Considering where I was, I guess you could say, sitting previously to this happening. Of course, when my sponsor approached me and asked me this, I was very, very excited. And the first thing out of my mouth was, yes, absolutely. I got my supplies, I got my setup started, and I began working on artwork. Now, of course, I had these ideas in my head of arts that I wanted to finish and complete. I guess you could say arts that I wanted to start to begin with, let alone just finishing and completing them. But I was coming from a place more of output. I was coming from a place of people pleasing, really, when it comes to my work. I was someone who took a lot of pride in my identity as just being somebody that everybody could like, and that in my mind meant to do whatever it is people tell me to do. And so my sponsor came to me and said, we need artwork, we need you to produce. And I said, yes, of course, within my excitement. But once I got into my studio, I had all my supplies and I sat down in front of my canvases, knowing that I had already sketched out a lot of my ideas. That is when it hit me. That's when I realized that as many cool ideas as I had, I was really operating from a place of technical skill. Things that I've learned throughout my life along the way, as far as how to paint, how to draw, you know, the technical fundamental things. And I've gotten really good at it, but if you ask me to draw a really fluid, really soft figure drawing, something very simple, I guess you can say, once you get to the point of being more of, if you want to consider it, an advanced artist, I can't do that. I can do that, but it requires a lot of breaking through hesitation. For me, hesitation is definitely built on insecurities from my past, as well as bad habits that have been accrued over time because of those insecurities from my past. And all of this has just been too much for me. As an artist, I really want to reconnect with that creative side of myself, and I was so confused as to how. So I went to my sponsor one day and I told my sponsor, hey, I'm building my YouTube channel and I am looking for books that I can read to help me expand my knowledge on mental health and to expand my knowledge on just connecting to other human beings in a general way. And so my sponsor gave me a couple of ideas for books that I could read. They gave me one, and logically speaking, I really liked the first one that they recommended. I think that this is on the topic of what it is that you are looking for to read. However, I also really like this book, which is this book, The Recovery of Your Inner Child. And I was looking at both of these books. My sponsor said, sit down, read a page or two from each of them and see which one that resonates with you more in this moment. I read the first one, great. Would love to read it, and I most likely will read it once I'm done with some of the other books that I'm working on. I sat down with this book specifically, and the thing that I felt was fear. I felt fear when I sat down to read this. I felt this like heavy guilt of like, I know that if I read this, something is going to happen to me. I felt hesitation, I felt resistance. And so because of that, I decided that this is the book that I'm going to read. Didn't know why in the moment, I didn't know why, because what I was looking for wasn't very like healing your inner child specific, but I thought, why not? I most likely can learn something and incorporate this into my channel as well. As I have been doing the exercises in this book, and as I have been diving deeper into this topic all around, I realized that this is actually the most critical part of me not only just learning about myself as an artist, but to also help share with other people as well and create these topics of conversation. So there's a little bit of backstory there. So let's really get into the root of this topic of conversation from my end. In life as we grow, when we're children, we create freely, we're playing, we're always learning something new. The world around us is a very magical place because around every corner there's something new to discover. There's usually not a lot of pressure involved in things other than, of course, your parents putting pressure on you for small tasks to get done, like doing your homework or making sure you get to bed on time. But there's no deep pressure for survival, usually. I just want to make a disclaimer and say that that is not to disparage any families right now that are truly deeply struggling in other parts of the world, as well as just the children themselves. I just wanted to let you know that my heart is with you. But from an idealistic standpoint, in our childhood, we're operating from a place without judgment. We don't usually have like an outcome to long-term attachments, usually just short-term goals and plans that we make for ourselves. But as we grow and step into adulthood throughout our life, we begin to learn the fundamentals of rules within our system that we live in. We have to learn to structure and conform ourselves to society because society as a whole is how we survive as a species. We also tend to become aware of ourselves. We tend to perceive ourselves, and we tend to perceive ourselves a lot heavier than we did as children. And that can lead to judgments, that can lead to shutting ourselves down from interpersonal relationships and opportunities around us. And of course, life happens. Stress, trauma, family relations, really horrible things can happen to us in our life that not only does our soul and mind respond to, our body physically responds to as well. And I would say that the physical bodily response is even more of a difficult hurdle to get over, not just get used to, but get over on our paths to healing, outside of just the mental and spiritual response to life traumas. The point of all of this is that somewhere along the way in our life, we tend to lose our creativity, at least to the people that relate to this topic of conversation right now. We tend to lose our creativity, or we have lost our creativity, and life stops feeling like play and it just starts feeling like responsibility. Not just responsibility, but performance. We have to always pretend like we know what we're doing. We hit a certain age and then all of a sudden we have to just know. But like I've said in a previous video, everyone is faking it. I don't care how old you are, you still have that childlike soul within you. And at some point, you're just kind of figuring it out along the way every single day. There's no point where you just know. I would say for me personally, I began to notice this shift probably several years ago. And a huge part of the shift had to do with problems with interpersonal relationships. A lot of our problems stemmed from interpersonal relationships. And these ones for me, I can't blame them specifically. I have to take responsibility for my life. So while these things may not have been my fault, it is now my responsibility to grow from them. And so keeping that in mind, I just want to say at some point, probably around that time in my life several years back, is when I really lost that creative spark. And I feel that I was really operating from more of a place of survival and not so much play. And now I'm in a much more safe place to be able to create and to play. And I realize that you cannot be that person when you are in a state of survival. So you have to kind of forgive yourself for not being maybe this person that you think that you want to be, at least in that time of your life. That's why it's really encouraged to kind of let go of the past, to let go of those things that hold you back and focus on now, because now that I am in a safe place to play and cultivate, here I am. And the key to this is reconnecting with this small, soft part of myself that I pushed down, I pushed away, and I shut away in order to protect it. So this has blossomed this thought in my mind. What if creativity isn't something that we gain? What if creativity is something that we are innately born with? It's our God-given gift to be creative. And we may walk away from it from time to time in our life for survival or for whatever reason that may or may not be. What if it's something that we return to? It's always there. It's always 100% full. But we walk away from it and then we return to it later. So if you're watching this and you just wanted a little bit of solidarity and feeling like your creativity is not exactly where you want it to be right now, I'm here with you. And I just wanted to say that if you're operating from a place of stress, give yourself time, allow that stress to dissipate in the way that it needs to. And that may just be a key to allowing you to step into a safer place to reconnect with the smaller side of yourself, your small child. I don't think my creativity is gone. I think that it just did not feel safe to come out until now. I think that our inner children, they need to play. They want to feel safe. They want to laugh. They want to relax. And I just haven't been able to do that until now. So cool. So here are some things that I have been doing recently to help me reconnect with this inner child. Aside of the exercises from the book Recovery of Your Inner Child, which is great, by the way, you should check it out. I really have been listening to what my inner child really wants and giving it what it wants in those moments. For example, just this morning I woke up and my inner child, I felt like, was calling out to me to go and ride my bike first thing. It is not something that I do. I just got a bike, by the way. So I wasn't even a bike rider to begin with in the first place. So to wake up and the first thing on my mind is to just go out and have a bike ride and go see the trees and just have fun and get some blood pumping to my legs, that is crazy to me as an adult. But I just had this deep inner desire to go out and play. I always want to go and play. And so I did, and I feel really great that I did that. Also, you can't see this, but right outside of the camera, I set up a table in my studio so I can start doing more crafts and more personal hobbies and projects, such as hand sewing some clothing that I want to hobby with. And I want to start making just small little paintings once a day just for myself, just to have fun with. I did this to show the sizes. I don't know why I did that. I painted my nails fun colors for the first time in many years, and I have just truly been listening to that small voice within me and just letting them come out and allowing them to build trust with me again as an adult, to let them be who they are now. And with all of this, I am noticing that I'm growing in ways that I wasn't growing before. I really wanted to let more love into my life and into my body, into my heart and soul. Again, something I mentioned in a past video. And I knew that there was more pieces to the puzzle to be able to openly and freely do that outside of just practicing that every day. And I realized my child, my inner child, is full of that love and full of that lack of judgment, not just for myself, but to others, and full of life and vibrancy and wanting to be a part of the world. And so connecting with that being is a great way to segue into that goal of wanting to love more, and not just wanting to, but loving more. So I see now that growing up isn't just gaining knowledge. Growing up is unlearning bad habits. It's unlearning these fears and these judgments, these pressures that we put on ourselves along the way throughout our life. So tying this all back into being an artist, being a creative person, I'm just like wondering that maybe becoming a better artist isn't about learning more, but remembering who we are before we became afraid, before we learned these fears and these judgments, and really conforming to society to survive. Anyways, these are just some thoughts of mine that I wanted to discuss as I explore and as I learn more. I may make a follow-up video that's a little bit more advice-oriented once I do finish these explorations in the future, but it's not so much of a priority because right now I just want to play. I'm still exploring these sides of myself, and I'm so excited to just feel like a little child again. I feel like something is shifting in my life, and I'm really starting to find my way back to parts of myself that I completely forgot about. Anyways, thank you so much for watching today. I really enjoyed chit-chatting about this. If you have any thoughts or questions, anything that you want to discuss as well, feel free to drop that in the comments. Let's build a community. My name is Anna. I'm a working artist. It's so nice to meet you. Thank you for stopping by on my channel today. Feel free to like this video if you like this video, and subscribe if you like me. I like you too, and I'd love to see you again on my next video, which will be happening. Wait, what day is today? Today is Tuesday, which will be published on Friday at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, so I will see you then. All right, everybody, thanks again for watching, and I will see you again very soon. See you later. Bye.